Hey, what's up everybody? MC82 here with my very first review. Today we're looking at Diamond Select's Kitana from their Mortal Kombat Gallery Diorama line of PVC statues. She's based on her appearance in Mortal Kombat 2, and this is definitely my preferred look for the character as it was her first appearance, and it's how I best remember her as a fan of the series back in the 90s. She's designed by Nelson X Asensio and sculpted by Salvador Gomez, and they also did the first statue in the line Sub-Zero, which was an excellent release. I'm not sure if Diamond Select is having an identity crisis with their packaging right now. The Sub-Zero statue came in a Mortal Kombat 11 box featuring Scorpion on the cover. Perhaps Warner Brothers saw an advertising opportunity with this Diamond Select line and the Mortal Kombat 11 video game. As a person who appreciates good box art, it's a bit jarring as I would like the packaging to be more in line with the characters. Kitana's box art thankfully doesn't have another character on the cover. They decided to go with a blood splatter theme that's definitely fitting for Mortal Kombat. But specifically, it seems like it would be more fitting for a character like Ermac or Scarlet. At this point, I'm up for anything with Diamond Select. Maybe the upcoming Scorpion statue will be coming in a box that looks like a block of ice. We have the usual clear window display featured on the front, the sides, and on the top. And on the back, there's a bio that gives a little bit of Kitana's history. And that's a nice little ad, considering that the Sub-Zero box only featured stock information about the statue. Now let's get her out of the box and take a closer look. When I initially saw the promotional shots for Kitana, I was a little worried that the pose wouldn't look as dynamic or interesting when placed next to Sub-Zero or the upcoming Scorpion. And quite frankly, it doesn't look as interesting, but that's okay. The bow stand still manages to convey quite a bit of movement and energy, showing her jet black hair flying in the wind and her open steel fans drawn. Speaking of those fans, I appreciate that they opted to sculpt each fold. It allows for a more realistic metallic look as the light reflects off of the material. At times, Diamond Select figures can look flat and washed out with dull paint application. The sculpt here is beautiful. Kitana has a good mix of color for her skin tones, showing off an athletic build. You could argue that perhaps it could benefit from a little bit more shading, especially in the face, but overall I think it works. There's a generous amount of detail in and around her eyes. A bit of eyeliner and her eyebrows are raised, which convincingly gives us the impression that she's ready for battle. Sticking to the face, there's a few areas where the blue paint of the mask is bleeding in a bit on the skin, and there's several paint application issues all over the face. Your results may vary with each statue, but thankfully it's hardly noticeable from a regular viewing distance. To a much lesser degree, I saw a few of these same issues with the Sub-Zero figure. Hopefully with upcoming releases, this issue will be addressed. Moving to her clothing, they added some subtle pattern work which gives off a fabric textured appearance in her long gloves. You can also find this in the headband and in the mask, and it looks really good up close. Darker shades of paint in her leotard works very well in allowing you to see the various details and folds in her clothing. And this style of shading continues as we look at her knee-high boots. But I would have appreciated a little bit more detail towards the bottom of her boots, showing some accumulated dirt and dust from walking through Outworld, which was the inspiration behind this base. Speaking of her base, it's very detailed, though not so much that it takes away from Kitana herself. Shades of gray tend to kill surrounding colors, but here it works. Kitana still stands out. This rocky base displays numerous cracks, weathering, and what appears to be dead vegetation. It's very reminiscent of the Wasteland stage from Mortal Kombat 2. While some might say that this base is a bit dull and not much to look at, I appreciate that they chose this because it ties into her story of a princess whose family saw their realm destroyed by Shao Kahn. I think it's an inspired choice for the base. Let's get into a few measurements. This statue measures roughly 9 inches in height from the bottom of the base to the top of her head, and around 9 to 9.25 inches wide between the tips of her fans. Also, let's show her compared to a few figures. Here's how she compares to Storm Collectibles' Goro. And here she is next to the aforementioned Diamond Select Sub-Zero. I think she fits in very well. They'll look really good together on your shelf or your display. Overall, I think this statue is a solid addition to Diamond Select's Mortal Kombat Gallery Diorama line. I definitely recommend it. I'd probably give this statue an 8 out of 10. I'm definitely looking forward to the upcoming Scorpion, who, if he's anything close to the promotional pictures, we are all in for a real treat. Thanks a lot, guys, for sticking around to the end of the review. Obviously, it's my first video and review, so please go easy on me. I know the internet is a pretty cruel place at times. Let me know if you're going to invest in this line, specifically Kitana in particular. There's a lot of competition out there for your MK dollars. I know McFarlane seems to be releasing a new figure every few months. Storm Collectibles is doing a great job so far, even though it's been a bit of a slow burn with their releases. I fear that they may have too many fighting game licenses and they're spreading themselves just a little bit too thin. If I had the money, I'd love to invest in some of those XM Studios, PCS Collectibles, or Iron Studio statues, but that's a little bit out of my range. So at a roughly $50 to $60 price point, I really appreciate what Diamond Select is doing. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks a lot.